Hello, beautiful children of God. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your own time zone. God bless you and welcome to Gloria Emmanuel. Please, as you are smashing the red button, I want you also to subscribe to Jesus Christ. Today, we are going to talk about something, a kind of a way to rediscover who you are. We're going to use Africa as a benchmark. The topic says, why blessed Africa lives in poverty in the mix of plenty and abundance. Let's read in the book of Genesis chapter 22. We're going to read, it's supposed to be from verse 1 to 19, but because of our time, I don't want the video to be too long. And it says, then he said, take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took two of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and he split the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. Then on the third day, Abraham lifted his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said to his young men, stay here with the donkey. The lad and I will go yonder and worship, and we will come to you. I want you to notice something here. God met Abraham and instructed Abraham to do this sacrifice. Abraham did not say no. He agreed with God. He trusted God. He believed in God. And he began to take the step of faith. He saddled the ass, he prepared the firewood, and they started walking towards Mountain Moriah. Do you know the reason? Because Abraham trusted God. Abraham believed in God. Abraham, that is, he have tested God and he is already convinced with who God is. The question is, who is Africa? Because one thing I came to understand is this: God can never put your blessing, your breakthrough, very far from where you are. The problem that makes Africa to live in gold, in oil, in silver, and in all kind of blessedness, but they are living in lack. It's nothing but the lack of discovering the principles of God. Abraham discovered the principles of God. Remember in verse 3, Abraham said, no, in verse 4, he said, and Abraham said to his young men, verse 5, stay here with the donkey, the lad and I will go yonder and worship, and we will come back. How do Abraham knew that he's going to come back with Isaac? But at the same time, he is willing to do the needful. He was willing to do the sacrifice that Lord have asked him to do. Africa is a nation endued. I didn't say Nigeria. I said Africa as a whole is a nation endued with all kind of natural resources. But Africa refused to discover who they are and the principles of God. That is why we are living in lack. We are living in want. We are living in all kind of depravity. We don't even know who we are anymore. And the outsiders are taking advantages of who we are, and we are allowing them. God sent Abraham. Abraham took the step of faith. Abraham was willing to do what the Lord asked him to do. But at the same time, Abraham had the faith that God is a God of principle. That God is a God that knows the end from the beginning. That God will not fail him. He told them Let two of us go, we'll be back. And because of that faith, when he reached over there, he wanted to raise his finger to do the sacrifice. And God said, now I know. Why can't African leaders stop this mindset of depending on the white people for their success, for their survival, when everything had been already deposited on the ground of Africa? Why can't we begin to ask God for his wisdom, for the spirit of creativity, for the spirit of innovation, for the spirit of great imagination, which is the mother of the invention? Why do we have to wait until white people develop something, then we run after it? When are we going to start developing something for ourselves? Growing up as a young African woman, I discovered what our people started sleeping on. Apart from the mat they did with the weeds in the bush, they used to cut, our people call it oshishufie, like a ufie tree. Is one of the giant trees that they use to build houses. So they will cut a big chunk of it. It's very, very smooth. That was their first family bed, their first cabinet bed. At a point, they advanced in slicing it and joining them together. And they metamorphosized from that very aspect. They began to build it as a complete bed. Our forefathers was advancing in the areas of their own technology and everything, and things was working for them depends on their own discovery. Until after the colonial era. It's like the colonial era took away who we are, but left us with the spirit of fear, ignorance, and the financial manipulation and the, will I say, military terrorism as well. These are the things I will say that the colonial masters left in the heart of Africa. And since then, we are yet to find who we are again. If we can rise up today and say enough is enough, let us begin to use what God have already put in the soil of Africa and discover who Africa is. We are going to break away from the spirit of poverty, because let me tell you, God did not create anybody poor. The reason some people are poor is because they are lazy. African leaders have put the younger generation into the spirit of laziness. They don't want us to think anymore. They don't want us to invent anymore. They don't want us to do anything on our own. They want their children to run to abroad, to run to white man, and enjoy the goodies over there, instead of them to say, it is time for us to stand up and begin to do something for ourselves. Because the gift is already there in your brain. The gift is already there. All you have to do is to discover it. Remember the time of, that leads us to the one that said lack of improvement and depending on God, lack of dependency on God. In this place we read, don't you see that Abraham totally dependent on God? Yes, you said, let me go. I am going. You said, let me do the sacrifice. I am doing the sacrifice. You said, let me do this. Abraham totally depend on God. But instead of our people to depend on God and on the gift of God in them, they depend on white men. They depend on the things that the white men are giving them. White men came to Africa. They discovered not only the geographical areas of Africa, they also discovered the minerals and resources in Africa. And all they have been trying to do since then is how to wipe away Africa, take over the resources, develop the resources, and use it to their own glory. What are our leaders sowing today? They are sowing the seed of conquest, because they are relying on the outsiders for their success. When that success, they are sitting on top of it. When that success, they are sleeping on top of it. Why can't we call ourselves in order? God did not give Adam and Eve firewood. No. God did not give them a bed or a couch. He gave them a tree. And out of their own imagination, they discovered that if they plow this tree down or if they cut it down and allow it to dry, they can make firewood out of it. They can make a bed out of it if they cut it down. It is the mother of invention, is creativity. That is what is lacking in African man's brain today. God have given us everything. When I said everything, the energy, the manpower, but what we are lacking is the spirit of creativity, great imagination, and the invention. Why can't we go back to the ancient landmarks and learn how our forefathers survived during their own time? In the book of Proverbs chapter 22, the Bible says that a borrower is a slave to the lender. We have enslaved our future generation in the hand of the white people, borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, instead of us to find a way to make use of our young men and women to discover who we are. America put a lot of money in research and discovery. Africa put a lot of money in the hand of politicians. And what do they do with the money? Usually, mansions, all those things, it doesn't bring anything. Rather, it's taken away. They don't build resources like factories and things like that. When are we going to go back to the ancient landmark? That is my question today. Why are God so much blessed Africa, but Africa is living in abject poverty? The reason we are doing this is to discover who we are. Discover your gifts. That is what we are talking about. I want Africa to discover who they are, because God has given them everything they need to survive in the land of Africa. Lack of discovering who and the gift of God in you. The Bible said that a man's gift, he didn't say a man's career. The Bible said a man's gift makes way for him. If you discover the gift of God in you, I am telling you, wealth will be running after you. Wealth will be running after you. It cannot just come miraculously. You have to labor for it. You have to research for it. You have to go after it. You have to fight for it. A man's gift makes a way for him or her. Why can't African leaders develop Africa instead of sending their children abroad to live in a white man's land? And at the same time, they are telling you, you know, you have a root. You have to come back to your root. What root? The root you have allowed to perish without excavating it. Africa starts sowing in our future instead of selling it to outsiders. Let Africa discover that the gold, that if you come to white man's house, you are going to see all kind of gold in their house, all kind of silvers in their house, is being excavated from Africa, but we have nothing to show. The silver, the oil, and everything. Nigeria has about 4 refineries, but none of them is functioning. Please, Mother Africa, let us go back to our roots. Let us discover who we are. Let us stop living in abject poverty. God bless you all, and thank you for watching. Until next time, I remain your sister, Gloria. Africa, my people, let us not be highly blessed, but living in abject poverty. The world is mocking us because we refuse to discover who we are and who our God is. Bye-bye.